Hey everybody, welcome to my USHL mid-season prediction video. I'll be giving my predictions for the end of the season, at least right now. Taking a look at the current standings for the Western Conference. We got Omaha and Lincoln tied on top with 42 points each. Waterloo has 38, Fargo 37, Des Moines at 29, Sioux City 26, Sioux Falls at 25, and Tri-City is at 22. And I put the games played in there so that you guys can see who has more games to play, because obviously that is a factor in determining, who's going to finish above who. So my predictions for the final standings in the West will be Lincoln on top, and I think they're a little bit better team than Omaha right now. I think even though that Omaha just beat Lincoln like 5-2 or 5-3, something like that, on like a week or two ago, I still think Lincoln is a better team. They're going to probably be able to pull it out, I think. And right now they just look like the top team in the conference, personally, to me. We've only played them once so far, so and we played Omaha like 4 times, so but we got them both coming up again next week. Game in Lincoln and then home against Omaha, so that should be interesting to see how we do in those games. But got Waterloo 3rd, Fargo 4th. Fargo's coming up on Waterloo though, so I've thought about whether Fargo could catch Waterloo, but what you have to realize is Fargo's played 3 more games than Waterloo, and they're still behind by a point. So Waterloo's got a chance at 6 possible more points than Fargo does. So that's why I'm thinking Waterloo's a good enough team that they should be able to get at least 3rd, and I think Fargo will be 4th. And those top 4 are kind of starting to separate themselves from the rest of from the bottom 4 anyway. I got Des Moines at 5th. I think we had a chance at 4th coming out of Christmas. We were right there. We were like in 4th, I want to say, even, or really close. But Fargo's just played really good, so they've kind of pulled away. And 4th is probably still possible, though it's a little bit more of a stretch than it was like a month ago. Sioux City's at 6th. This was kind of my interesting pick because I made these yesterday before the games, and then at that time Sioux City was actually behind Sioux Falls, and they won last night, so now they're ahead. I think Sioux City has what it takes to go down the stretch, and we seen that last year when they beat us. They can go down the stretch, make a run if they have to, and pull out a couple games to make that last playoff spot if they have to. And Sioux Falls is not really a great team in my opinion. They have really good defense, but they're really bad offensively, and that's why they struggle. So I'm thinking Sioux City will get that last spot, and the fact that they just jumped ahead of Sioux Falls, even though Sioux Falls, they've played 2 more games than Sioux Falls, I should say. I think they'll be a better team than Sioux Falls. And of course, Tri-City made their coaching change back like before the holiday break. So that worked for a little while, but I think now the effects of that are starting to wear off, and I expect them to finish last. So, taking a look at the East, we have Green Bay with 53 points, Indiana has 46, Dubuque 41, Youngstown 39, Team USA and Cedar Rapids tied with 35, Muskegon has 22, and Chicago has 19, as you can see there. So my final predictions for this, not really too shaking it up very much. Green Bay is obviously the team to beat. Anybody who disagrees with that, you are crazy. So they are going to win the Anderson Cup. I would bet money on it right at this point. There's it's hard to argue anybody else is going to win unless something unforeseen happens there. I mean, they're going to keep winning. It's pretty clear. Indiana is second. They're a good team. They're just not as good as Green Bay. They're probably the second best team in the league. So they're probably going to be second. And then there's Youngstown and Dubuque. Now, those two are probably pretty evenly matched, actually. So, I like Youngstown. I mean, we saw them last night. We're going to see them again tonight. They're a good team. They've got a lot of good weapons, and like Cangelosi and some of their other guys there. But I think they have what it takes to pass Dubuque and get into third. And I believe Dubuque will finish fourth. Not really sure why I was thinking that, but I mean, it just kind of, Youngstown seems like a better team right now. I mean, I haven't really seen Dubuque at all, so, except for like one time, so I don't know that much about Dubuque right now. I mean, obviously they're the defending champions, so you'll expect them to, make a good run at the playoffs, and so should be interesting to see what happens there. Team USA 5th, they are pulling ahead of Cedar Rapids, which I kind of expected because they had like 5 games in hand on Cedar Rapids, I think, and now those games are kind of gone, but they are tied with Cedar Rapids now, and I kind of expected that. The question is whether Muskegon, who still has 5 games on Cedar Rapids, can get ahead of Cedar Rapids. And they're down by like 11 points, though. So I don't see Muskegon. I mean, again, they just made a coaching change, too, just last week. I find it hard to see them passing Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids is usually a good enough team that they'll make the playoffs, and they're kind of having a subpar year by their standards. So I think Cedar Rapids will make that last playoff spot. I don't think Muskegon can catch them, and obviously Chicago's last. Not much to say about them. They're just not good. Western Conference first round would, if it turns out the way I say it would, Sioux City be playing Waterloo. I think Waterloo in 3 games would be a good. I think it'll be a good series. I'm sure there's got to be some sort of rivalry there. I don't really know much about that series, but there must be because they're 2 good franchises, and both being from the state of Iowa, so you would think there'd be some rivalry going on there. I think Sioux City could pull out 1 game in Waterloo. I wouldn't put it past them, especially if they get a run going down the stretch. I remember last year when they played Sioux Falls in the first round, they did win 1 game in Sioux Falls' building. So I wouldn't put it past them, but I would pick Waterloo in 3. Des Moines and Fargo. Right now, I would have Fargo in 3 games, but that's just because that's like if this series was being played today. Fargo is a very, they're a hot team right now anyway. They're rolling right now, and that's evidenced by the fact that they're actually pulling away from us and getting closer to Waterloo. So if this were to be played today or, this week, I would probably pick Fargo in 3 games. Just based on the fact that I think we can get 1 game in Fargo, but the way they've been playing, it's really tough to see us beating them at this point. Of course, that could change depending on how the season ends and all that, so. Alright, Eastern Conference first round, Cedar Rapids and Youngstown. I would have Youngstown in 2 games because Cedar Rapids, they're still having a struggling year, it seems like, and Youngstown is, like I said, a really good team. I think Youngstown would win 2 games easily in their building. It's a long travel over there, so anybody going over there has can have some bus legs or whatever you want to call it, but I would definitely think Youngstown in 2 games. Team USA and Dubuque in 2 games, because even though USA has been winning a lot of games, a lot of those games have come from their under-18 team. That's not to say that the under-17 isn't good, but obviously the under-18 is better because they're older and stronger and, seasoned vets, all that stuff. But the under-17 team will be playing if USA makes the playoffs, and I think Dubuque, being the defending champions, 2 games probably wouldn't be that hard for them. So, that's that. Semifinals for the Western Conference. Fargo and Lincoln. I would pick Lincoln in 5 games because this has actually been a really good series from what I've seen of it. And actually, Fargo and Lincoln just played last night, and Fargo won the game 5-1. And so, obviously, we know Fargo can play with Lincoln. They're not going to go away. I think Lincoln in 5 games because they probably have what it takes to beat this team. But, I mean, Fargo, again, is a good team, and, this would be an interesting series to see happen again, because I believe they played last year or the year before that, something like that. But it should be interesting if that series happens. Waterloo and Omaha. I would pick Omaha in 4 games. I think Waterloo is not quite as good as Omaha right now anyway. Omaha looks a little bit better than them, and I think Omaha can take care of the series pretty easily and just take care of Waterloo. Eastern Conference semifinals, Dubuque and Green Bay, and who wouldn't want to see this? Because everybody loves a rematch, and Dubuque and Green Bay would be just awesome to see again. This would be so fun to watch. Green Bay, I would pick Green Bay in 5 games. I believe that's what I did last year, or Green Bay in 4 games maybe even, but I was wrong. Green Bay, like I said, top team to beat right now. I wouldn't want to play them right now if I was anybody. So, that's why I'm glad we're in the West. Youngstown and Indiana. I got Indiana in 4 games. Again, I think Indiana's a little bit better than Youngstown. Indiana's kind of in the middle between that 3rd seed and Green Bay, who's the 1st seed. So, I like Indiana as a team. They have really great goaltending with Giles or Gies or however you pronounce it, in goal. So, they're a good team. So I like them to go to the finals, at least at this point in the season. Alright, Western Conference Finals, Omaha and Lincoln. Yet another one that everybody would love to see because the rivalry here is so strong and so hated towards each other. Lincoln in 5 games. Again, right now I think Lincoln is the better team, even though we just saw Omaha beat Lincoln like 5-1 last week. Again, Lincoln seems to be the team to beat in the West, and right now they're my pick to go to the finals. So I have Lincoln in 5. Indiana and Green Bay. I've got Green Bay in 5. I think Indiana's pretty good. I think they can give Green Bay a run. But I don't know if they have what it takes to beat them. Obviously, they'd be relying a lot on their goaltending, and they'd need to find a way to score some goals, because McKay in net for Green Bay is a real tough goalie to beat. So, I'd pick Green Bay in 5 games. That would be another interesting one to watch. For the Clark Cup Finals, Lincoln and Green Bay, I'd pick Green Bay in 4. Again, Green Bay just team to beat right now. I don't see anybody beating them at this point. And, you know, it's funny that I say that, and just last night they lost to Team USA. But, that's Team USA, so you can't really say anything about that. I like Green Bay. That's basically my pick right now. I mean, who doesn't like Green Bay at this point? If you don't like Green Bay, well, I don't really know what to say to that. But, if you don't have Green Bay as the champion right now, I would really like to know who you do have, and why. So that would be something to comment or video response or whatever you want to do. But yep, those are my predictions. I'm sorry that this video took 15 minutes. I didn't expect it to take that long. But I will see you later.